In the final stretch of Yozo Oba's life, he finds himself retreating into the recesses of his mind, reflecting on a lifetime of perceived failures and inadequacies. Yozo's narrative is not one of redemption or grand revelations, but rather a quiet acceptance of his self-perceived flaws and the disintegration of his humanity. Yozo Oba, once striving to meet the expectations of society, now resides in the quietude of a sanatorium, where he is left alone to confront the fragments of his life. He views his life not as a sequence of unfortunate circumstances, but as a pattern of choices dominated by fear and the avoidance of genuine human connection. Throughout his life, Yozo maintained a profound belief in his own inadequacy, seeing himself as fundamentally flawed and unworthy of being considered human. His reflections reveal his acknowledgement of a past filled with cowardice, evasion, and a lack of authentic connection with others. The relationships Yozo formed were marred by a performance he believed necessary to mask the emptiness within. People like Kazuki and Naoko, who entered his life, were met with superficial interactions, as Yozo never permitted them to witness his true self. He recalls moments shared with them, Kazuki's laughter, Naoko's dependability, that offered glimpses of the humanity he yearned for but never fully grasped. Despite their attempts to connect, Yozo remained on the periphery of human experience, a spectator disconnected from the emotions and bonds that constitute what he perceived as an authentic existence. In the sanatorium, Yozo contemplates his lack of identity, having defined himself solely through the expectations and experiences of others. Stripped of his masks, he confronts the reality that there is no real Yozo Oba, only the vestiges of the person he pretended to be. The sterile environment of the institution echoes his inner void, reducing him to a mere patient, an entity devoid of individuality or purpose. As Yozo delves deeper into his reflections, he examines his place within society, a world that has rejected him due to its rigid expectations. Although tempted to assign blame to societal structures, he ultimately dismisses these thoughts, recognizing them as further evasion from facing the truth of his personal failings. His solitude is marked by a resignation to reality, accepting his state of disconnection as an irrevocable fact rather than a grievance to be amended. Amidst his darkest moments, there are instances of potential, memories that remind Yozo of a life he could have embraced with greater courage and openness. Yet, these are overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of regret. This exchange between faint hope and resignation forms the bedrock of Yozo's internal landscape, where acceptance replaces redemption and acknowledgement replaces forgiveness. In the conclusion of Yozo's story, there is no dramatic change, no pure moment of understanding that alleviates his suffering. Instead, it leaves us with Yozo embracing his belief: I am disqualified from being human. This declaration becomes a statement of fact, devoid of lamentation or plea for absolution. In his assessment, accepting this truth is perhaps the singular act of honesty he has performed. The narrative of Yozo Oba, as depicted in No Longer Human, is a deeply introspective and unsettling exploration of human isolation, alienation, and the innate struggle to belong. It poses existential questions about our personal inadequacies, how we forge connections in a seemingly indifferent world, and what it truly means to be human. While Yozo's journey offers no comforting resolutions or direct answers, it inspires self-reflection, empathy, and a more profound understanding of the complexities inherent in our humanity. In holding up a mirror to Yozo's experiences, the story encourages readers to examine their vulnerabilities and connect with the universal fears that define the human condition.